my take here is that you leaving New York, you took anything good away from the Giants.
You're listening to Let's Talk Fantasy Football, where men of fantasy genius have realized, hey guys, we don't need real football skills to dominate on the fantasy field. Yeah. So slap on your pads and grab your helmet. Shit's about to get real.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Let's Talk Fantasy Football. I am your host, Nick Schreck, and joining me tonight, we have a very special guest, Or from Fantasy Advantage. He is the CEO and founder of one of the newest daily fantasy sports, we'll call it lineup optimizers out there. And we like to call him the king of data here at Let's Talk Fantasy Football. But what do we know about the product? He's the one that's going to tell you all about it, how he can help you guys go out there and try and win when you're playing daily fantasy sports, because we all know, listening to the podcast, when you talk to me and let me give you lineup advice for DFS, it typically doesn't go as well. Or is going to be your guy here moving forward. But before we jump into the show with Or, let's give a shout out to BenchBoss. They are the revolutionary app that allows you to play fantasy football live while watching the game on TV, predict the plays, the result of the play, and literally play fantasy football. You can sign up for the beta now by going to letstalkfantasyfootball.com/BenchBoss. So guys, with that, I'm here with Or. We're going to talk Fantasy Advantage, a ton of data, a ton of who he is, what they do, and why you guys need it. And we'll wrap up talking a little bit about Eli, Or's favorite team, the New York Giants, and they're the hot button topic right now. But first, Or, why don't you take the floor? Because I can't do Fantasy Advantage justice just quite yet. It is, after all, your baby, your brainchild. Tell us about you, Or. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm very happy for the opportunity to talk to you and your audience and to tell you a little bit about our mission and about Fantasy Advantage, what we do and why we do it. Maybe I'll start by telling you that we just started probably like 5 months ago. We just launched for the first NFL season. That was our first NFL season. And I think our goal, or what we're trying to do, is we're trying to help sport lovers, amateur people that play seasonal fantasy, just make the shift and start playing DFS. Help them do it in a secure environment, help them win, help them choose better, and get eventually better results. So, our marketing slogan is your instinct and our technology. And I think that's what we're trying to bring to our users. What we do is, you said data freaks. So we are really all about data. We use technology, a very advanced technology, to try and analyze patterns, information, predictions, and just present it in a very clean and easy way for everyone to play with it and get better results.
Fair enough. I mean, Or I'll say, what you guys do and what you talk about it perfectly aligns with a lot of things we talk about on the show, and particularly one of our analysts, Nick Walsh, and he says it all the time. He's very statistical. I followed the process, the data said, and then there's always going to be guys that go against the data and the trends, and it happens, But he always talks about regression is so real, because everything is going to regress back to the mean. You look at the data and the way it goes, and I have no doubt he's going to be excited to jump into this, because anything data and supporting kind of that claim, where people get so emotionally involved, the data is what wins, and we talked about it before the show. You don't have to be a sports freak to do well here. You can love the game and love the sports, but if you have the numbers behind it, this is what success looks like. And you guys have a nice recipe here.
Yeah, I think you pretty much you said it exactly the way we see it. When we came to this market and we saw the big opportunity where 70, probably 80 million pay seasonal fantasy, and everyone watched sports and love it, but not so many did the shift and moved towards DFS and trying to understand why people don't play more daily fantasy. We understood that a lot of it is because it's difficult, complicated, time-consuming, and you need to compete with, people that's their day job. People do it for a living. They use the very advanced tools, algorithms. They read a lot. They do a lot of research, and obviously they win at the end. So I think for the amateur player, for just someone that likes sports and like to play, it's a big challenge. You don't want to spend like half of the week just reading about players and understanding who's going to open and who's going to perform well. So I think what we try to do is try to address this audience and help them play like the expert without spending that much time. So if you have a full-time job, if you don't have a lot of time to read and you need to, to do some housework and you have wife and kids, so we are the right tool for you. The way we do it, we try to simplify it and gamify it and have it, just want to make it fun again, make it very simple. We come from a very strong online marketing experience, and we believe, and I think our core value is just focus on the user, make sure that the user gets everything simple and easy, that he would understand what's the next step. And I think that's what we try to do today. And I invite everyone to come to our platform, fantasyadvantage.com, and just use it and try it. Again, we can't promise anyone money or to win, but I think we're going to increase their chances a lot. And the good thing is that it's free. So again, a very good reason why to try it and use it.
Absolutely. I just actually made a big note in bold on my notes here. To use it is completely free, guys. There's no monthly charges, no paywalls, no locked premium features, which is extremely rare in the industry for someone who's going to give you what you guys are offering. And actually, I kind of laughed to myself as you were talking about how, most people have full-time jobs. I went to a fantasy conference last year in New York City, actually, and I met some of the top guys that are playing DFS, and, we talked and, did some interviews and stuff. And, the amount of hours that they pour in every week to, and again, they win, so for them, it's their full-time job and it works. But for those of us who can't afford to lose our full-time jobs by spending 40 hours a week doing this, to lose money and lose our jobs, it is the perfect recipe for what you guys have going on. And I love, like you said, the gamification of it. Guys, you obviously can't see it here on the interview and the podcast. You will when you go to fantasyadvantage.com after listening to this. But you can select here between FanDuel, DraftKings, and Fantasy Draft, the three leagues you guys support for DFS. And it's, they right off the bat give you recommendations for their solid pick, their bargain pick, and their stud. And it lays it out. And I think that's cool because it gives you an idea of, who you're playing. Are you playing for, 50-50? You going into the big tournament where you want to take the risk? And it kind of gives you some options. And obviously it says you can load more players here, but it kind of gives you guys the best choices that you guys come up with your algorithms there.
Yeah, correct. And I would just add that I think that the biggest advantage that we bring is that it's a very mobile mobile friendly website. So I encourage everyone to go from the mobile, do it on the way. Again, you don't need to sit in front of a desktop in order to use those websites. And most of them, again, because they rely so heavily on stats and on data and information, they just can't process it in a very easy way to bring it to the mobile phone. So I think that's one of our, I would say, biggest advantage. Now, you mentioned what we call the lineup wizard that help you bring you the best three choice for each position. Again, look very simple, when you look at it, but behind it, there is a lot of logic and a lot of optimization, especially once you start choosing players. So it recommends you the next player. You can switch between position. You can start with the defense if you have someone that you're very favorite in and you want to start with that. So the logic is, again, I don't want to go too much into the machine learning behind it because I'm sure that most of your users don't care about it. They just want to get good results. But I would say that the optimization behind it, I think it's very sophisticated. And I would just maybe emphasize another key feature that I think the first one that brings to the market is that we're now fully integrated with FanDuel and Fantasy Draft, meaning that once you build the team and you just click the button, the team will transfer with you directly to the FanDuel website, and you'll see your team over there. So you don't need to go to their website and build it again or write notes. Everything is, as I said, we are really trying to focus on a user, understanding that our users are amateurs, sport lovers, probably first time playing on those platforms. Instead of start looking and understanding, we're going to send you directly to a tournament that we believe is the right tournament for you. So again, playing with data and just providing it in a very simple way and fun way.
Yeah, I think it's the perfect fit for people that are just starting out, and even for me who've dabbled in DFS quite a bit and typically not won a lot, but I enjoy trying, thinking I'm outsmarting the pros. So it's nice to have some real data behind it versus, it is overwhelming when you go to those sites for the first time. It's, you're trying to pick a contest. You're like, well, this one's $1 million. I want to enter the $1 million one. Meanwhile, your odds are not great. Then you enter, then you look and you're like, oh, well, I really like Jacoby Brissett this year, and you're like, no, he has a terrible matchup. But you look at all these names, and it gets super overwhelming. So I think you guys kind of have the perfect recipe here of getting people into a contest that you believe is the right fit, along with helping them pick the players that data is recommending. It's not someone just picking a name out of a hat and saying, "Yeah, really love Jared Goff this week." Why? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of our features and the flow comes from users that are using the platform, and we get a lot of feedback. And I encourage you and your audience and everyone that just listen to us, send us feedback. We love it. We're going to implement a lot of it. We're a new platform, like everyone else. We have a lot of room to improve, and we are eager to do it. So send us feedback, and again, we are aiming to be a very user-friendly product that's going to stay here a lot. So for the long run, so use us and give us feedback.
Awesome, guys, and you guys have an NBA up now, and it looks like you're going to have Major League Baseball. I know we're primarily a football podcast, but lots of people dabble in lots of different sports. They're going to be able to use Fantasy Advantage across all those leagues, right?
Exactly. We're going to add the MLB once the season starts again. Yep. Hopefully, hockey as well. And I know that you're over there in America, in the States, but hopefully we'll have a European soccer as well sometimes in the future. Again, I can't promise anything for sure, but we're working very hard to have everything integrated. For now, we see great results on the NBA and NFL, so we're happy and we're sure encouraged to go on. Great.
Well, for those of you guys out there, fantasyadvantage.com, you can do it on the phone, on the desktop, and Or tells you right here, do it from your phone. I agree. I was checking it out before the podcast on the phone. Super easy, mobile friendly. You're going to have no issue jumping around, picking lineups, and we hope to hear you guys, you go out there and win. Obviously, no guarantees coming out, but it's super easy to use. And with all the things they've got going on here, I have a feeling we're going to see some success. I can't wait to put some lineups into play this week with Fantasy Advantage. And then on the podcast next week, I'll come back and tell you just how I did. But send your feedback into Or, guys, and let us know how you like the site and how everything works for you. I have a feeling we're going to hear a lot of great things, Or coming back from Let's Talk Fantasy Football Nation. Is there anything else you want to throw out there about Fantasy Advantage before we take a break and jump back into the hot topic, New York Giants?
Well, I think you conclude everything pretty good, and just come, use it, use your instinct, back it with our technology. We promise you a lot of fun and a lot of action.
There you go, fun and action and free. Fun, action, and free. Can't beat it. Or let's take a quick break, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk New York Giants, Eli Manning, and who's the best in the NFL.
This year, dominate your friends with free play-by-play fantasy football from BenchBoss. BenchBoss is the first play-by-play fantasy football game where you must think like the players and coaches on the field as you predict the outcome of every play. Earn rewards as you compete against friends and fans across the country. BenchBoss is currently recruiting beta testers, and we need you. Visit benchboss.tv to learn more and sign up today.
All right, guys, we are back. I am here with Or from Fantasy Advantage. You can find them at fantasyadvantage.com. You guys are going to love this thing, so go out there, set some lineups. It's free. They're going to recommend the perfect contests for you guys to get into to give you a chance to actually try and win some money because I know I haven't been successful on my own. It gets a little overwhelming sometimes. But Or, we're here now to talk about the NFL. You talked about living in New York, being a New York Giants fan, which at the beginning of the year, you were probably pretty pumped up about. A lot of Giant fans were. Things haven't gone so well. We watched Eli get benched. His streak ends. McAdoo and Reese get fired this week, and now Eli is supposedly back at the helm. What are you thinking as a Giants fan here? I've heard a lot of happy fans, but
I'll tell you, I think I lived in New York for 5-6 years. My last year was, I think it was 2012, the Super Bowl. So it was a great end for a great period in New York. And my son just got born. So I wanted to call him Eli. That's why I was so happy. And then I think that since I left New York, everything started to break apart. And I think this year was, as you said, that was the peak of it. I try to remember the good experience, the good times. I think that, it's he had like 200 and a change games that he played. So, we're so angry, but we can't complain. He had a good run. So it is what it is. Eventually that's sports. That's the competition. It's a very intense sports. And I think that, comparing it to other sports, football is intense, extremely. So, to have 200 games, that's impressive, and
100%.
Let's remember the good stuff.
There you go. There's the eternal optimist in you, or I see it beaming through. I mean, my take here is that you leaving New York, you took anything good away from the Giants with you. So for upset Giant fans, it sounds like it's Orr's fault that they are now not good. But no, I think they had some poor things, and I thought it was a shame what they did to Eli here with Geno Smith. But again, personally, I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I've got my own woes right now, so I understand. But I think you guys will be better off without McAdoo and Reese. Reset, go into next year, get everybody healthy, and get Odell back, and better things are to come for the New York Giants. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I think that from here we can just improve. So starting a new times. So
yes.
Hopefully next year we'll just improve. I don't see any way it won't be better next year. So
I agree. New chapter for the New York Giants moving forward. And while I haven't looked through all of Fantasy Advantage's data yet for this week's games, I can't imagine Geno Smith makes any of the top QB recommendations. So I got to think he's not going to lead any Giants, this week, regardless of whether it's him or Eli at the helm. We really have one other NFL question for you, because it's, it seemed like a lock going into the week, and then the Eagles lose. The Eagles were the hot team. They really had just lost to the Chiefs back when the Chiefs were hot, and now the Chiefs look terrible. So it's been a weird year. But the Eagles got their first real kind of, I'll call it challenge. Everyone tells me they play with a soft schedule, and they play against the Seahawks and they lose. So, one, are the Eagles still the best team in the NFL, or do you think it's the Patriots or somebody else?
I would go with the Patriots. I think that they're very stable. We see great results, great defense. So I would go with them. I think they're a very strong candidate to go all the way. Talking about the season, but I think that for this week, I would pay a close attention on the LA teams. I think they're going to bring us a lot of points, a lot of interesting games. So in terms of fantasy, and again, we don't have all the information yet. I would check everything around Friday. But I would put a closer look towards the West Coast.
Fair.
I think they're going to be very interesting games, high score. Yeah. So
I agree.
That's my tip again, right from.
Hey man, I love it. I mean, the LA teams have been fun to watch, considering what I think I expect and a lot of people expect going into the year. And I mean, you look at the Chargers, if they were just able to make a few field goals, which they're still struggling with at this point in the season, which is crazy, they would have a couple more wins. And with the way the AFC West looks, they'd probably have a 2-game lead, really, with those early games they lost.
Agree.
So they're definitely going to be fun to watch. And as much as it sucks to say, I agree, the Patriots are just one of those teams that always does it. They always make it happen. It is what it is. You always think it's their downfall, and it never is.
Very stable. You don't see a lot of mistakes. I think that's their biggest advantage. Very stable, very trained. So, they bring very good results.
Yes,
Unfortunately, and please don't get too mad there, fans.
No, don't worry. For the rest of us, unless you're a Patriots fan, it's extremely unfortunate. But that is the way the cookie crumbles. So that's all we've got for you with the NFL news. I mean, again, the focus here was DFS, and the platform looks awesome. I'm super excited to use it, roll it out, and we're going to send some things out to our fans this week and try and get them involved, test it out, get you guys some feedback, and hopefully we get some winners. That's the best success story of them all.
Tell us. We love to hear success stories. We don't share it, but we love to hear it. And I think the most important thing for us is to get the feedback from you, from your fans, from the sport lovers, because that's what we are aiming to our audience.
Absolutely, man. It's about improving it and making it better for everybody. All the way through it. So, guys, if you want a chance to set up some awesome daily fantasy lineups, super easy, get into contests that you're better suited for. We all love winning $1 million, but it's probably not your best statistical bet right off the bat. Check out fantasyadvantage.com. They're going to help you out all the way through, or it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on the show, my man.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and good luck.
Guys, check out Fantasy Advantage, and we will catch you on the flip side.
This has been Let's Talk Fantasy Football. Thanks for listening.